Hello, everybody. My name is Max Zhang. I am a junior here at RPI, and I'm studying computer science alongside Jackson Feng. And we came here to talk to you guys about DSDM. So, what is DSDM, or the Dynamic Systems Development Method? It is an iterative approach to software development that has an additional layer of discipline on top of it all. So, this also has a very heavy emphasis of other people viewing the project. It has very clearly defined strategic goals, and it focuses upon early development benefits to the business. It aims to work efficiently, delineate stages of the development life cycle, and provide benefits to all parties involved in the project. So let's go over a little bit of history about the project. So sometime in the 1990s, the rapid application development process was basically spiking in popularity. And it was very popular because it was able to pump out possible solutions very, very quickly, and that showed promise to other stakeholders. However, this approach had a lot of downsides too, because there was not much communication, there was not much connection, there were no processes linking RAD teams together, and there was no framework to really guide this implementation. So even though it was fast, it was disorganized. And to basically remedy that, we have DSDM. So DSDM was specifically created to address this issue, and it comes in the form of many different strategies. But the one that we're going to be talking about is the Agile project framework. So let's go over some core principles about DSDM. Number one, focus on the business needs. So remember, your product is, meant to be distributed to consumers and stakeholders. So you want to make sure you keep them as your priority, and you do in terms of what they want from your project. This is important. Number two, deliver on time. So this is done in a disciplined fashion. And if you say that you're going to release like your product on a certain day, or release a prototype on a certain day, you do it, and with adequate efficiency. Number three, you need to collaborate, okay? So remember, your product is the result of not your efforts, not your effort alone at least, but many people's, including your stakeholders, including your project contributors, everyone who is interested. Number four, maintain high quality. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You want to make sure that whatever you release is visually appealing to the user and flexible and does as expected. Number five and number six, build incrementally from firm foundations and develop iteratively. So know exactly what you're going to be doing for each iteration, and as you progress, you're going to be doing more and more parts of the project, and it's eventually going to, be combined into one huge product. Know exactly what you're going to be doing for each iteration, what resources you need to allocate, such as budget. That's very, very important. Number seven, communicate continuously and clearly. So continuously is pretty self-explanatory, and make sure you're able to tell your contributors what you want for your product, what bugs you need to fix, what issues you need to address. Stakeholders, remember, you got to be able to receive feedback so you can adjust your project according to that. And last but not least, demonstrate control. In the case of emergencies, dire situations, maybe you didn't submit things on time or whatever, right? You want to make sure that you take the corrective actions. Reallocate resources if necessary, adjust timelines, or rewrite your schedule. Anything that would keep yourself back up to speed, though it should be kept at a minimum.
So there are certain roles in the DSDM project management. The first role is the project level roles. The project level roles are concerned with directing and management aspects of the project within their specialty of area. Roles in the project level will be responsible for interacting with stakeholders and providing project governance. They provide the needed vision for the project and working to ensure that the vision is followed. The next role is the SDT Solution Development Team. The SDT is responsible for bringing life to the vision. They work together collaboratively to build the planned project for the product. As much as it can be controlled, people assigned to this role should not be changed out or replaced. The goal is to create a stable SDT that takes ownership over their work and the area of their responsibility. And the next one is the supporting roles. The supporting roles provide project guidance as needed. They may support multi-project or have the other roles in the organization, and their work in a project is focused on advising or supporting the solution development team, SDT, in their specialization area.
So to go over some common artifacts and deliverables, we first have the prioritized requirements list. So remember, there are some facets about the project that are probably more important than others, and you want to be able to list the most critical components in this list right here. It'll help your team realize, okay, what needs to be completed and what needs to be worked around. So this is important. The next thing is the functional model, and that is a visual representation of the system's functionality, the product's functionality, and it's often depicted via use cases, activity diagrams, process flows, all that good stuff. And it helps stakeholders and your consumers understand how the system will work. The next thing is the iteration plan, right? So that's probably something you've seen before, you know, the project schedule. And it is a plan that outlines the activities, the tasks, and the resources allocated for each iteration. It includes objectives, scope, estimated effort, for example, budget, of course, and yeah. User documentation is next, and obviously, if you don't have user documentation, there's a good chance that your user might not even know how to use the products. And so, you know, user manuals, training guides, and the other supporting documents would be very, very helpful for the consumer to be able to use your product efficiently. And this can be like example code as well, anything that would help the user understand. And last but not least, we have prototypes. So prototypes, so DSDM encourages the use of prototypes to, you know, validate requirements, gather user feedback, and they can come in many different forms: mockups, wireframes, interactive models. Yep, anything that's a good representation of the product, of your product. So on the left side here, we have a control flow diagram. I'm not going to go over everything, but I'll go over a little bit about it. So this comes from Bill Nye's BID OS, and that centralized orange node in the center is a network node, and it points to port 3000, which gathers information from the stack and all that good stuff. And on the right-hand side, that is example code. That is an example of user documentation for the OSU API. So the installation that is given by the PIP command listed right there. And beneath that, that is some example code that shows, you know, how to get the username of the #1 user in the game.
So there's the advantage of using the DSDM. The progress can be easily understood across the organization, and the project are delivered on time, which still allowing flexibilities. And the business case are at the core of the DSDM model, ensuring the deliverable projects have real business value. But there are also disadvantages. The DSDM can be costly to implement, and also it will minimize the creativity. Because it encourages developers to work quickly, it may limit risk taking. The focus on iterative development may allow the professional to revisit their work to infuse more unique creative element later. And the demand structure, the DSDM work best when the teams have a reliable structure, full support from a management and a capable project manager to lead the project life cycle. You can implement more structure in your team before committing to DSDM to ensure its success. Thank you for listening.